Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Oriel Morrison-Higgins. Well, we're going to head over to Botswana now, something a little bit different, to chat to the team at Belararox. And I'm joined today by Will Dix, the CEO, and also Chris Blaser, the General Manager of Exploration. Gentlemen, welcome. It's great to have you with us today.
Hi Oriel,
Thanks
for having us.
Oriel.
Good to be here.
Now, we should start off by saying that we want to introduce the company to investors here, but you are about to change the name. So it's not going to be Belararox anymore. You're going to be Vantage Metals. That kicks off in July.
Yeah, so we've sort of gone through a whole process of sort of rebirth of the company, I guess, in the last 3 or 4 months. We've got a brand new team in Botswana. We're looking at new assets. We're looking at divesting Belara in New South Wales. And we thought as an overall sort of restart and rebrand, it would make a bit of sense to change the name as well. And, you know, we've gone through the whole exercise of what we can and what we can't use, what's taken already, what ASX codes we can get. And we landed on Vantage Metals. So, yeah, the stock code will be VAN. And obviously, you know, there's a whole bunch of marketing opportunities there with sneakers and different cars and all the rest of it. So, you know, that aside, nothing changes in terms of our focus on copper in both Botswana here where we are and also over in Argentina. So, you know, the name's the name and good results mean any name's good. So, you know, we'll be still very focused on achieving success for shareholders through exploration.
So you have just joined the company, or joined as CEO. You're bringing a lot of experience with you. But let me ask you, what was it about the company that made you interested in joining as CEO, and what are you planning on doing?
Yeah, good question. I looked at a bunch of different opportunities over a period of time, and as a geologist, you want to find things, you want to make discoveries. That's the sort of pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And you know, you can play around in WA and look at little postage stamps and gold resources, and that's great, and there's a place for that. But I really wanted to go somewhere where there was an opportunity to find something big and find something world class. And between our TMT project in the Andes, in the San Juan province, and Botswana in the Kalahari Copper Project, we've got the opportunity to find something big. Copper's a hot commodity, you know, I was interested in that as well. We've got a stable board, we've got a fantastic technical team. You know, I inherited Chris, luckily. So, you know, it's been really great, and we're excited for what we're going to do here, and really excited for the next season in Argentina as well.
Amazing, amazing. Well, let's start off, because you're in Botswana, let's start off with the Kalahari Copper Project there. I know that you've just completed a geophysics program there. Can you update us?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right, Oriel. We just finished an airborne geophysical survey over 2 of our main tenure here. So we did more than 1,900 kilometer lines of geophysical surveying. All this data now is sitting with our geophysicists, so we're about to receive the geophysical data and the inversions, and with that we can pin down the prospective horizons more. So we're talking about in total more than 200 kilometer lines of prospective horizon. Within that, we want to have a target testing workshop with the geophysicists, and then we zone into the better targets. So drilling is still envisaged to be starting in July sometime. But yeah, as Will said, we have amazing tenure and tenements here, and we just want to make sure all the dots and I's are crossed before we go into the drilling season.
So if I ask you to look into your crystal ball then, Chris, what do you expect to find?
Well, we expect to find certainly the target horizon, and I mean the Kalahari Copper Belt is a huge sedimentary basin. So as Will said, we're very enthusiastic about our targets. We're hoping to find copper, obviously, but before we find copper, we just got to make sure we do all the methodology right. So, and once we pin that target horizon down, we have very extensive ground. So then we can like step out and test that target over various kilometers. So we obviously looking for copper, so we're hoping to find copper, but this is the exploration game. You have to like zone into the targets first.
Okay, so let's head from Botswana then over to Argentina, where you've got your TMT project that you mentioned briefly. This seems to be the kind of a target that most explorers dream about, because there's not one commodity that you're looking at here, there's actually 2.
Yeah, so I mean TMT was originally pegged as a copper porphyry target area, and it still is very much that. We've got some great targets still there, particularly at Tambo South, and I'll let Chris talk about that shortly. But one of the exciting things that happened for us in the last field season is that we did some drilling at Toro Central, and got some fantastic drill intersections. 47 metres at 174 grams a tonne silver, a bit of other metal in there as well. So, about a 3% copper equivalent in that. We've done a couple more holes after that. It's structurally complex, it's geologically challenging, and we've got a bunch of guys at the moment over there that are re-logging, reinterpreting, rebuilding a geological model to set us up for 2026-27. And yeah, Chris, I guess that's the plan is now working out what the plan is.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Will said, we have three main projects at the TMT project, and what I should have mentioned before is projects in Argentina and Botswana are very close to major mining operations and major deposits. So in Botswana, we're along strike of the MMG Khoemacau hub and Sandfire hub. So we're along that same trend. The same in Argentina. We're just 20 kilometers south of one of the biggest copper discoveries, certainly in the last 30 years, with Filo del Sol, the BHP Lundin joint venture. So we have very exciting tenure, a lot of ground holding. Our three main projects are still the same. That's Tambo South, Toro Central and Toro South. So we're relogging the core, vectoring in. We also did added geophysical surveys over Tambo South, which we're going to analyze as well. And with that, again, analyzing all the data and then prioritizing our targets again.
What sort of timeline will investors hear from you on when it comes to that particular project?
So we should be able to put out an update on Argentina probably in August, once we finish all of that relogging, get all the rest of the geochemistry in, get some petrology or petrography, thin sections made. We're going to do a big workshop with some technical experts to sort of pin down what we'll do in 2026-27. So I think probably August for a big update on Argentina. But certainly before that, we will have news flow coming out of Botswana with the geophysical inversion modelling, the drill targeting, the planning, and then ultimately the commencement of drilling.
So what are your plans now in Australia? Because you mentioned earlier on that you're still considering a divestment of Belara.
Yeah, so Belara is a project that we've had since the IPO back in 2022, and Chris actually worked on that and worked on the drill out. It's about 3 million tonnes at 3% zinc equivalent. Needs a lot more drilling, but our focus is over obviously chasing copper in Argentina and Botswana. So, we're talking to a couple of parties at the moment, and we're keen to do, a pretty straightforward deal to get that off our books, basically.
Now, what about on the capital front? You've just done a capital raise, so you have got some fresh funds to deploy. Where are you planning on spending those funds?
Yeah, so we've just put together a raise that was $6 million all up at 6 cents. So, pretty good for where the market's been, especially in the last couple of weeks. A lot of that money will go into Argentina at the back end of this year. But before we get there, there's money that we already had, plus a bit of the new funding will go towards the work that we're doing in Botswana. It's no secret that some of the investment came out of big high net worth guys in Argentina who have got a history of backing mining companies and backing exploration, and they are keen to show us new assets in Argentina and to see some of their money spent there.
All right, well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to chat to you. Thank you so much for taking the time, especially from all the way over in Botswana. It was lovely to see you both.
Thanks, Oriel. Thanks for having us.